It's Thursday, May 30th. And I'm just going to work now. Step one is backing up my car. Okay. And then going forward. All right. So anyway, we had a pretty good trip in Arches National Park and a little bit of Canyonlands and also Mesa Verde National Park, seeing the Indian ruins and cliff dwellings. And one interesting thing about that whole trip was how the Amerindian people, American Indian people, came from Siberia and Mongolia and around there 20 to 30,000 years ago. At least that's when they separated from that population. There's a researcher guy named T.G. Schurr. I think it's S-H-U-R-R or S-C-H-U-R-R. Anyway, T.G. Schurr. You can also do a Google search for where is the Lamanite DNA. Also, there's a guy named Simon Southerton. He's an Australian plant biologist, DNA scientist, who left the Mormon Church over the Book of Mormon DNA issue. So, anyway, let's see if we can merge here. I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. Yep. Because I did. I thought I could, and I did. Okay, well, anyway, okay, so it's interesting how they split off and managed to come over here. But one little side note about the term Native American, I think that's kind of a racist term, inappropriate. Anybody who's born in America is a Native American. When I was a kid, the term native meant born there, and my son is just as much a Native American as I am. Yes, that is true. Just because my skin happens to be a little bit whiter does not mean that I am not a Native American. Okay? So, let us be accurate in our terms. So what is the appropriate term? Perhaps Amerindian, or we could use the hyphenated term long ago formerly Asian American. Or how about just American? Or how about just human? Or how about not having hyphenated labels for humans? How about that? And also, my ancestors came from Africa too, you know, so I guess I'm also an African American. Oh, and I'm an atheist American. That's the nature of having these bullshit hyphenated labels for things. Okay, so that's my opinion on that. Okay. Next, yesterday I watched a little more of the Moving Naturalism Forward videos with Sean Carroll, and interesting watching the day 3 videos. It's too bad Sam Harris wasn't there to respond to the several criticisms. But I think that his disagreement with Dan Dennett is primarily one of semantics. So, anyway. What else? Oh, and I was at the library has this video streaming service, and I found a documentary on there by Dawkins, Rirchard Dawkins. Something about the meaning of life and sin and death and sex. And I think it was the second show in that series. If you just Google for it, you'll find it. Anyway, on the second installment of the 3-part series, there was this guy on there who I mentioned before named Darrel Ray. And this Darrel Ray guy has apparently found some research that shows that, maybe done some research also, showing that the sexual activities of religious and non-religious people are essentially the same. It's just that the religious people have more guilt about their activities, and also they will lie about their activities more. So, for example, if you're a Mormon, you will most likely masturbate, but you will lie about it, or you'll be a naive guy like I was, and confess and confess and confess, and be ground down by the iron fist of the assholey nature of Mormonism by that process. So, anyway, and also premarital sex is pretty much the same, but in secular countries and societies that are more secular, they actually have a lower divorce rate, lower abortion rate. So, there's that. His basic point was that what religions do with human sexuality is basically pervert it and subvert it, and teach people to lie about it and hide it and have an unhealthy relationship with it. And I think that's all definitely true. And then there's been some recent maybe books and articles and news reports about how porn, or the pornography, supposedly hijacks your brain. And I think that's about half true and half very much not true. So, for example, let's see, one moment. So, for example, a person could listen to that and assume that if they find some value out of some types of porn, so-called porn is just kind of viewing other humans having sex, okay? So this word porn could be derogatory and maybe is inappropriate. We could just rename it something else like, okay, yeah, I like to occasionally watch other humans having sex, okay? And am I going to apologize for that, or lie about it, or pretend that I don't, just for the sake of political correctness, or either political correctness to suck up to the ultra-lefties, or because I'm in some shame-based religion. Same difference, right? So, yes, so-called porn, or what the practice of viewing what it is like to see other humans engage in sexual activity, does have value, but it's also true that you have to avoid being sucked into the business of, well, like in the old days, calling 900 numbers. And for those noobs among for the noobs watching this video, that means you call a phone number and you're charged a high fee to call the number, and then you get to speak to some woman who pretends to be your girlfriend. So the more modern thing is to go to a paid internet site so that you can have some sort of a chat with some woman who pretends to be your girlfriend. So I would agree that that activity is problematic and should not be pursued. It's bad enough that there are online dating sites where there's essentially a huge waste. So it's bad enough that there's that. But because those are largely a waste of time, there's no substitute for in-person interaction, really. So as far as internet porn goes, I think there's value in education, or in, some degree of fulfillment while you're a single person, but it should be a means to an end, facilitation of motivation for having you get out and meeting a flesh and blood person, or having more fun with a flesh and blood person. So, yeah. So anyway, that's my view on that. Okay, well, so have fun. My googly eyes, like Marty Feldman.